My fiancé said, "Stop exaggerating, it's just a broken leg. I can't cancel my Bali trip." I watched her Instagram videos of her partying wildly in clubs while I was agonizing through physical therapy. Her face went white when she returned, learning I had crossed her name off the deed of the $1 million house I secretly intended as her wedding gift. When I proposed to Lara last winter, I thought I was the luckiest man alive. She said yes in front of a sunset on the cliffs of Santorini, hair glowing, eyes bright, like every dream I'd ever had standing right in front of me. We started planning the wedding. She handled the aesthetics, flowers, venues, colors. I handled the boring stuff, savings, logistics, building what I secretly called our forever home. She thought it was just another project at my construction firm. She had no idea I was building it for her. A lakefront house worth over $1 million. I wanted to give it to her on our wedding day with the words, "You'll never have to leave again. This is home." But a few months before that day, I learned what home really meant to her, because when I called from the hospital, lying there with a shattered leg and a cracked rib, begging for her to come, she just laughed softly and said, "Stop exaggerating, babe. It's just a broken leg. I can't cancel my Bali trip." And that was the moment something in me quietly broke too. The accident happened on a Thursday afternoon, the kind of day that starts ordinary and ends up changing everything. I was on site at a residential project, just doing a final inspection before the weekend. We'd been working non-stop for weeks, and I remember thinking, 2 more hours and I'm home. Then the scaffolding gave way. It happened so fast, the metallic snap, the sickening fall, the explosion of pain when I hit the concrete. I heard someone shouting my name, but all I could focus on was the sharp wrong angle of my left leg and the taste of blood in my mouth. The next thing I knew, I was in an ambulance. The paramedics were saying things like compound fracture and possible internal bleeding. When I woke up in the ER, everything was white, sterile, humming. My leg was wrapped and pinned, and the doctor told me I'd need surgery within a few hours. My phone was on the tray beside me. There was only one person I wanted to call. "Hey," I croaked when she picked up. "It's me. I had an accident. I'm in the hospital." There was music in the background, people laughing. "Wait, what? Hospital? What happened?" "I fell from a scaffold. My leg's broken. They're prepping me for surgery tonight." "Oh my God, Aaron, but you're okay, right? You can still move." I tried to laugh, but it came out hollow. "Not really. I can't feel much of my left leg." They said it's bad. Silence for a few seconds. Then the unmistakable sound of her zipping a suitcase. "Babe, you're kind of scaring me right now. I'm literally at the airport. Our Bali trip's in a few hours. You sure it's that serious?" I stared at the ceiling. "I'm not sure of anything. I just don't want to be alone right now," she sighed. "Aaron, don't make me cancel everything. I have sponsors, hotel bookings, the whole team waiting. It's just a broken leg. You'll be fine. I'll call you from the hotel, okay? Lara, love you, babe. Be brave for me." Click. I lay there, phone pressed against my ear long after the line went dead. That night, they rolled me into surgery. The anesthesiologist asked if I had someone waiting outside. I said no. He gave me a look I'll never forget, half pity, half disbelief, before I passed out. The next morning I woke to a throbbing leg, dry throat, and silence. The nurse told me the operation went well. I asked if anyone had called. She shook her head. I checked my phone. No missed calls. Just a notification from Instagram. Lara had posted a story. "Bali bound with my girls. Time to disconnect from stress and just breathe." She looked stunning in the airport lounge, glowing, laughing, free. Meanwhile, I was staring at the ceiling of a hospital room, pain screaming through every nerve in my body. Over the next few days, my mom flew in from out of state. My co-worker Ben dropped by with flowers. Even my site manager came to visit. Everyone except the woman I thought I'd spend my life with. She sent one text on day 3. "How's my brave patient? Hope therapy's going okay. I'll bring souvenirs." So that was it. No call, no visit. No concern. Physical therapy started the next week. Every movement felt like my bones were grinding against fire. But honestly, the physical pain wasn't the worst part. The worst part was realizing how small I must have been in her world, small enough to be forgotten somewhere between her cocktails and her sunset selfies. At night, when the painkillers wore off, I'd scroll through her feed. Beaches, bars, laughter. Hashtags like Bali nights and living my best life. Each post felt like a knife turned slowly in my chest. By the time I was discharged, I'd memorized every caption, every photo, and I'd made a decision. I was done being the background character in someone else's highlight reel. A week after the accident, the doctors finally let me go home. I'd begged to be discharged early. The hospital bed felt colder each night, and the silence after visiting hours was unbearable. My leg was still pinned, and every step on the crutches felt like fire. But at least I could breathe air that didn't smell like disinfectant. Mom helped me settle in for a few days, cooked soup, set up my meds. Laura? She was still in Bali. Her 7-day collab trip, as she called it, with a team of influencers and photographers. I saw every post. The sunset dinners, the champagne, the beach dances under fairy lights. The captions read things like, "Sometimes you have to disconnect to feel alive." Meanwhile, I was counting pills and trying not to scream when I moved. She called once. Just once. "Hey, babe, I saw your text. You're home already? Wow, you recover fast." "I asked to be discharged," I said. "Couldn't stand lying there alone." "Don't be emotional, Aaron. It's just a week. I'll make it up to you when I get back, promise." When she returned, she didn't rush over. She posted "back home from paradise" first. Then 3 days later, she finally showed up with a tan, a suitcase, and a wooden souvenir turtle. "Look, for good luck. You'll be walking in no time." "Right," I said. "Because that's what fixes broken bones, souvenirs." She frowned. "God, why are you being so negative lately?" That was when I realized she genuinely didn't get it. She didn't understand what it meant to show up when someone needed her. Every night after that, I watched her videos replay in my head. The laughter, the beaches, the champagne. And somewhere between those clips, I stopped missing her. When I was finally stable enough to get to the office, I signed the final paperwork for the lake house. The lawyer smiled. "So, same plan? Joint ownership?" I looked at the blank space where her name used to be and said, "No, just mine." The doctors wanted to keep me in the hospital for another week, but I begged them to let me go home early. The nights were the worst, lying there half awake, half in pain, staring at the door that never opened. So when the nurse finally said, "You're stable enough to rest at home," I signed the papers immediately. Mom flew in to help for a few days, making soup and fussing over me. But once she left, it was just me and my crutches. And the silence. Lara's trip to Bali was supposed to last 7 days. She called it a brand collaboration, but the post said otherwise: parties, beach bars, cocktails, sunrise yoga. Her captions read like postcards from another world. "Sometimes you have to disconnect to feel alive." No regrets. Just waves and freedom. Meanwhile, I was trying to figure out how to shower without collapsing. I called her twice during that week. No answer the first time, and the second, she picked up laughing. "Aaron, you wouldn't believe the view here." "What's up?" "I just wanted to hear your voice," I said quietly. "The surgery went well, but I can't move much." "That's good news, babe." "I told you it'd be fine. Anyway, I have to go. We're filming something for Sunset." "Okay, take care." "You too. Love you." And then she was gone again. 7 days later, she posted a photo of herself holding a champagne glass, captioned, "Last night in paradise. So grateful for this life." When she came back, I half expected some guilt, maybe even a hug. Instead, she breezed through the door wearing a white dress and a new tan. "Look what I brought you," she said, handing me a small wooden turtle. "They say it brings healing and protection." "Thanks," I said, forcing a smile. "And hey, you're walking." "I told you you'd be fine." "I'm hobbling, not walking." "Same thing," she laughed. "God, you sound so emotional lately." She stayed maybe 20 minutes. Half that time she was scrolling on her phone, showing me pictures of the trip. It was honestly magical, babe. You would have loved it. I wanted to say I did see it. Every single story, every post while I lay there with metal rods in my leg. But I didn't. I just sat there feeling smaller than I'd ever felt before. Over the next few days, she texted me less and less. When I asked if she could come to my next therapy session for support, she said, "Babe, I'd love to, but watching hospitals drains my energy." That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through her feed, perfect smiles, perfect lighting, and under every post comments like "couple goals" and "you're glowing." If only they knew what her glow cost. A week later, I was cleared to go back to light office work. My co-workers were still shaken by the accident, but supportive. They joked that I was bionic now. That's when my lawyer called, saying the paperwork for the lake house was ready. He asked, "Same plan? Both your names on the deed?" I stared at the blank signature line for a long time. Then I said, "No, just mine." The pen didn't shake. It was strange. I thought making that decision would hurt, but it didn't. It just felt peaceful. That evening, Lara called, all cheerful again. "Hey babe, I've been thinking. We should totally do our pre-wedding photos at that lake house you're building." "It's so aesthetic." I said nothing. "Babe?" "Sure," I said finally. "You'll see it soon enough." And I meant it, just not the way she thought. A few days later, Lara came over unannounced. I was sitting in the living room, leg propped up, answering work emails when I heard the jingle of her keys. "Surprise," she said, stepping in like she still lived here. "I brought lunch, and maybe a peace offering." She had that tone, the one she used whenever she wanted to smooth things over without actually apologizing. But I didn't fight it. I was tired of fighting. She unpacked sushi and smoothies, chatted about wedding colors and invitations. I mostly listened in silence. Then her eyes landed on the desk behind me. A folder lay open. Blueprints, contracts, and accidentally, one old file I'd forgotten to lock away. Property ownership, Lakeview residence. "What's this?" she asked, already walking toward it. Before I could answer, she was flipping through the papers. Her voice went soft. "Aaron, what is this place?" I didn't speak, then she gasped. Her fingers traced across the page, over two names printed clearly at the top. Aaron Carter and Lara Hayes. "Oh my God," she whispered. You bought this house for us?" She turned toward me, tears welling up. "I didn't know. I thought it was just one of your projects." "Aaron, this is beautiful." She fell to her knees beside my chair, clutching the folder to her chest. "I'm sorry," she said, "for everything. I was scared, selfish, stupid. You almost died and I was on a beach taking pictures. God, I hate myself for that. I know I hurt you. But look, this house, this means you still believe in us, right?" I looked down at her, mascara streaking, hands shaking, and for a split second I wanted to believe her. But the ache in my leg reminded me why I couldn't. "Lara," I said quietly, "that's an old draft." She blinked. "What?" I reached into the drawer and pulled out another folder. Same label, same seal. But this one was crisp, newly signed. I placed it next to the old one. There was only one name on it, mine. She stared at it for a long moment, confusion twisting into disbelief. You changed it." "Yes. Why?" I said I was sorry. "You can't just erase me over one mistake." "One mistake?" I repeated, letting the words hang. "When I called you from the hospital, I wasn't sure I'd wake up the next day. I just wanted to hear your voice. And you told me not to ruin your trip. I didn't mean it like that." She snapped. I panicked. I had a contract. I couldn't just walk away. "You could have," I said. "You just didn't want to." Her voice cracked. "You're being cruel, Aaron. You think this makes you the bigger person. You're just bitter." I took a slow breath. "No, I'm just done." She stood up, shaking, clutching the old deed like it was proof she still existed in my world. "I can't believe you'd do this to me." After everything I gave up, I cut her off, calm but cold. "What exactly did you give up, Lara? A week in Bali, or the chance to pretend you were still a good fiancé online?" For a moment there was silence. Then her face hardened. "Fine, keep your stupid house. Enjoy it, alone." She stormed toward the door, then stopped, tears spilling again. "I do love you," she said softly. "I just didn't know how to show it." "I noticed," I said. She left, slamming the door behind her. For the first time in months, the sound didn't hurt. It just echoed, sharp, final, clean. I looked at the two folders still lying on the table, the old one, with our names, the new one with mine alone. Two versions of a future, one that could have been and one that actually existed. I took the old folder, folded it neatly, and slid it into the drawer. Then I sat back, exhaled, and whispered to no one in particular. Guess I finally built something just for me. The next morning I called off the engagement. No arguments. No long messages. Just one sentence in a text. "I think we both know this isn't love anymore." She didn't reply right away. But a few hours later, my phone lit up with dozens of missed calls and frantic texts. "You're overreacting. We can fix this." Please don't throw everything away because of one bad moment. I didn't answer. I'd already thrown it away the night she chose a cocktail over my hospital bed. A few weeks passed. My leg was healing slowly. I could walk without crutches now. Physical therapy hurt, but it was a kind of pain that made sense. Every stretch brought progress. Unlike the pain she'd left me with, which never led anywhere, then one morning my coworker Ben sent me a link. "Dude," his message said, "I've got to see this." It was a viral TikTok, clips from Lara's Bali Vibes vlog, stitched with screenshots from a Reddit thread. The title read, "Influencer parties in Bali while fiancé recovers from car accident." The comments were brutal. People weren't buying the brand collab excuse. Her sponsors started dropping her one by one. A few brands even issued public statements distancing themselves. By the end of the week, every trace of her perfect life had started to crumble. The followers who once called her goals now called her heartless. The internet has a way of doing what karma sometimes forgets. I didn't post, didn't comment. I just turned off my phone and went to therapy. The world could punish her on its own. I didn't need to. Months went by. The cast came off. My leg was still weak, but I could walk along the lake again. Slow, steady steps, one at a time. The house was finished now. The lake shimmered outside the glass wall. The wooden floors smelled fresh, and the air carried the faint echo of possibility. I moved in alone. The first night there, I didn't feel lonely. I felt quiet, peaceful in a way I hadn't felt in years. Sometimes peace isn't about who's next to you. It's about not being afraid of the silence anymore. A month later, she showed up. No cameras, no perfect hair, no audience. Just Lara, tired eyes, trembling hands, standing at the gate. "I just wanted to see you," she said, "and to say I'm sorry. For real this time." I stepped outside, leaning on the railing. "I believe you," I said. "But sorry doesn't mean we go back." She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I lost everything, Aaron, the sponsors, the followers. I didn't realize how much of myself I'd built on other people's approval." "I know," I said. "And maybe that's why we never worked. You needed applause. I just needed someone to show up." She looked up at me, lips quivering. "Are you happy now?" I smiled faintly. "Getting there." She nodded, whispered a soft goodbye, and left. This time the sound of the door closing felt different, not like an ending, but a release. That evening I sat by the big glass window overlooking the lake. The sunset spilled gold over the water, warm and silent. My cane rested against the chair. My leg still ached, but it was my ache now, earned, healed. I took the house key from my pocket, turned it in my hand, and said quietly to myself, "May I never hand this key nor my heart into the wrong person again." And for the first time in a long while I felt free. If you've ever been there, if you've ever felt like you gave everything to someone who only gave you excuses, I hope you learn what I did. Healing starts the moment you choose peace over pain. So, thank you for being here, for listening, for letting my story reach someone who might need to hear it today.